Your age isn't the reason you have trouble moving. It's because you've spent your whole life in a seated position. But you can counteract the negative effects of prolonged sitting. And ironically, all you need is a chair and a wall. Welcome, friends. My name is Ruben Parada, a holistic wellness and mobility coach for men over 40. I'm a former office professional who became a personal trainer because after losing over 100 pounds and eliminating years of back pain, my life changed in such a positive way that I decided that I wanted to dedicate it to helping others transform their health. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to helping people move and feel better, and I'm also into all things nature. I love natural healing, natural wellness, and if you find some benefit from my page by exploring all of the videos, please subscribe so you can get future updates on all the incredible videos coming out. Today, we're going to focus on building strength through length, or as I like to call it, stretch strength. This is going to be helpful for anyone who sits for long hours at work and has been losing mobility and muscle because of it. If you're tired with dealing with discomfort and pain, if you suffer from fatigue and lack of energy, if you're concerned about being able to actively play with your grandchildren for the next 10 years, and you're frustrated with the conventional treatments and advice, then I know this video will have a huge positive impact on the quality of your life. I'm here to help, so if you have any questions, please comment below or send me an email at the address on the screen. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the complete framework that I use to reverse out the harmful effects that years of excessive sitting had on my body. Sitting for long periods of time causes your leg muscles and tendons to stiffen, leading to pain. Backwards walking protects your knees and can also help in strengthening your lower back by engaging your anterior tibialis, glutes, and muscles in your foot and ankle. The tibialis anterior is a muscle that prevents your foot from going down. You use it when you walk, run, or jump. In older people, the stronger this muscle is, the more likely they are to keep walking without having to use a walker or a wheelchair. All you need to start is a wall. Further is harder, and then closer is easier. Lack of blood flow can be a problem if you're a busy man who sits while at work. Luckily, your calves are actually the muscles pump your blood from your legs all the way back up to your heart. So training your ankles using a straight leg calf raise and a bent leg calf raise from a stretch can not only improve blood flow, but they can actually greatly improve your ankle strength and injury resilience. The ATG split squat can help you by strengthening the hip flexors through a lengthened position in the inverse of sitting. You're also progressively strengthening the knee as your ability to handle pressure in this stretch quad position increases. The couch stretch then helps us to double up on the hip flexors, which can get majorly tight from sitting. And it also stretches the quads, specifically the rectus femoris, which is also connected to your hip flexors. Think about pushing your shin against the pad and squeezing the quad and the glute to get comfortable in this position over time. But stretching the hip flexors is only half of the solution. Many people don't realize you also have to strengthen these muscles in their shortened position. The L-sit allows you to build strength through that entire chain, and it has great accessibility because it allows you to work one leg at a time. And then you can get measurably stronger by utilizing a kettlebell weight or a cable. When we sit and get tired, our back gets into this flex spine position. If this causes you discomfort, you can actually train your back to embrace this movement by progressively strengthening and lengthening the muscles that control spinal flexion, loosening and strengthening. Without equipment, you can start this by using the elephant walk, using an object to regress the motion, and working towards flat ground with the goal of palms flat to the ground. A back extension machine is an excellent piece of equipment, and it's a key piece to have in every home gym because it allows your entire posterior chain to get strong coming out of a flex spine position. So your back is getting strong coming from a flex spine position into an extended spine position. The groin is comically famous for being an injury-prone muscle group, and I think that's happening more and more because of how often we sit. And when you sit, it does become tight because you're basically bringing your legs together. So our body adapts to this position. You can train strength and flexibility inside of the thigh by using the pancake stretch. And you can scale this with your own body weight and then progress even more by using added resistance with the goal of touching your forehead to the ground and the ultimate goal of getting your chest to the ground. And you can double up in strength through length of the groin here by using a butterfly stretch, which you can load by using weights on top of the leg. And you know what muscle gets ignored the most when sitting? It's your quadratus lumborum. The what? This muscle is responsible for the majority of your spine's lateral movement. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but most people, when they tweak their back, they're actually picking something up like this sideways, right? So if you don't strengthen and stretch this muscle, it's very likely that you can get injured because the demands placing on them of your body when you bend over like this exceed its actual ability. You know that hunched over posture that most of us take when we're sitting down for a long time? This exercise helps you get stronger in the complete opposite of that motion. And the best part is, you can start doing it with a wall, then progress to cable, and then reach elite levels of overhead mobility by scaling it with a bench. This was a highly popular move in the old school bodybuilding days because it's highly effective for growing bigger lats, helps you improve your overhead pressing ability, and build a more aesthetic physique. Getting stronger in your lower trap muscles is the missing key to improve your posture and to optimize your shoulder stability. You can start this on the floor and progressively add weight. Looking down for long periods of time can cause poor posture and neck pain. But let's face it, we need these devices to maximize our productivity. A stronger neck can be the solution to improve your posture and reduce neck pain. Start with a soft pad on the wall and increase the inclination as you get stronger. Aim for 3 reps of 8-second holds each set. Now, if you want to know how to fit these movements into your busy schedule, make sure to download the free ebook below, where I've written a 4-week program based on the program that I use on my clients to help them regain their mobility within 4 weeks, only training 3 hours a week. And if you want these results for yourself, this is going to tell you exactly how to get there. Plus, I go into detail on the training principles that will have you strong for life, and an added bonus of 7 habits to help you improve your sleep and regain your youthful energy levels. Up next, I'm going to go into 3 levels for each one of these movements so that you can continue to progress based on what equipment you have available as well as your current level of ability. Level 1 is simply walking backwards. Level 2 is adding resistance to that. Level 3 is being able to handle 100% of your body weight for 5 minutes straight as you go backwards and forwards on the sled. Dragging a sled backwards on turf is ideal for adding resistance to your backwards walking. You can get pretty creative with what you use. Even a kettlebell attached to a rope or a tire works perfectly. The main thing is making sure to get your toes behind your knee on every step that you take, pushing through the toe as you go, going from toe to heel. You'll know if you're using too much weight because you'll have to take short, choppy steps. It's actually better to reduce the weight so that you can hit perfect form, getting the toe behind the knee on every step. You'll get a much deeper burn into your calf, more blood flow into the patellar tendon, and overall a better warm-up for your workout. Using a treadmill backwards turned off is another great way to do this, and you're still going to get quite a burn as long as you're getting your toes behind your knees on every step. The great thing about this is you can scale without having to turn around multiple times, so you can get a consistent burn here, and it's a great cardio workout too. If you don't have a sled or access to walking backwards up a hill, or you don't feel safe walking backwards outside, a great way to replace this is to use a reverse step up. So these are called Patrick step ups with the heel down, controlling our weight down to the bottom, pausing at the bottom for 1 second, and then coming up, pushing through the toe on your way up, strengthening that same knee over toe position that we do as we're walking backwards or dragging a sled backwards. The great thing is about this is that it can scale from the flat ground assisted, right? Getting your knee bent in this position, strengthening that position, to then increasing the amount of tension in the knee as you scale this going up in height. You can also add weight to this, but ideally you want to work from assisted to unassisted, work your way up to 6 inches of height, and being able to master this position for 25 reps on each side. You'll feel quite a little bit of a leg burn here. It's a lot harder than it looks. And once you're up to 6 inches, you can start adding weight with dumbbells and infinitely scale your athleticism in this knee over toe position, which is then going to allow you to get into deeper knee bends as it warms up and strengthens your vastus medialis, which is the muscle that stabilizes your knee. Level 1 for the tibialis raise is against the wall. You're going to bring your butt to the wall, chest forward. You're going to point your toes up to the sky, hold for 2 seconds, and then control slowly on the way down. Further away from the wall is harder. Closer to the wall is easier. This is level 1, and you can get measurably stronger by using a tibialis bar. This is level 2, being able to use over 10% of your body weight. The form is still the same, controlling the weight all the way down to the bottom and then bringing it up, holding for 2 seconds and repeating that. You want to be able to do 20 reps with over 10% of your body weight for level 2. Then level 3 is being able to perform 20 reps with 20% of your body weight. You're going to feel pretty intense burning your shins, but that just lets you know you're working. You shouldn't feel any ankle pain. If you do it all, reduce the weight. The way you get into this with a tib bar is you set it at the top of the bench like this. You can bring your feet up to the bar, put them in, and then you can slide down to the edge of the bench like that. And then once you're finished, you can safely drop this by slowly inching forward and then leaving it at the bottom. The FHL calf raise trains our flexor hallucis longus, which is a fancy word in Latin for the muscle that points your big toe. We're going to use a wall, put our hands on the wall, and then come to the point where your heels are hovering in a stretched position. From there, you're going to push up all the way through the toe. And level 1 is going to be using 2 legs to push all the way up. Level 2 is using 1 leg. You can do this on the wall in the same way, or you can use a slant. And ideally, you would want to use this 1 leg at a time, all the way up. For level 1, we're going to do 25 reps with 2 legs. Level 2 is mastering 15 to 20 on 1 leg. Level 3 is adding weight to that, but keeping good form, which means not bending the leg to swing forward. So just here, all the way up to the top, control for 2 seconds, control on the way down. When we bend our knee and do a calf raise, you're going to be targeting your soleus muscle, which has been dubbed by many as the second heart of the body, because it's mostly responsible for pumping blood up through the veins and back into the heart. So it's very important to train this not only for endurance while you're walking, hiking, running, because it is pound for pound the strongest muscle in the body, and it helps you balance. Level 1 is doing this on 2 legs, holding at the top and controlling down, keeping the leg bent the entire time. Level 2 is doing this on 1 leg, controlling down. Level 3 is adding weight. So you can do this 1 leg at a time. Just all you need is a wall and the weight. Or you can do this sitting down with 1 or 2 legs, although it would be a little bit harder to balance. And then to increase the stretch on your ankle so that you can bulletproof your ankle even more, you can use a slant board. Ideally, this is the easiest setup, and having one of these in your home gym garage will go a long way towards your longevity as well as your ankle strength and athleticism. Most people I coach usually have to start about 12 inches of elevation. You're going to start by bringing your feet about shoulder width apart, elevate the front foot, use upper body assistance. You're going to bring that rear leg back to the point where you're on your toe here. And there's 3 things we're going to focus on: keeping the back upright, covering the hamstring over the calf on the front leg, and keeping this rear leg straight by squeezing the rear glute so that it stays as straight as possible. Otherwise, it's going to droop like this, and we're not doing that. We're lengthening that rear hip flexor. So those 3 things in mind, we're going to come up, keeping the back straight as well. You're going to think about kicking this back leg through the ground because we're using both legs in this exercise. Again, all the way down as far as you can, pointing that knee forward, kicking that back leg through on the way up. So you can see how we're lengthening that rear hip flexor here on the way down. And then on the way up, we're strengthening it by keeping it straight, kicking through with that back leg as well. You're going to work from assisted to unassisted to then loading with weight, but focusing primarily on your form. This is the complete opposite of a sitting position, right? When we're sitting, our hip flexors get tight. We're sitting like this most of the time, of course, with a chair. But this is the inverse of that position for the hip flexor as we're stretching it here. Now, not everybody's gym is going to have a mobility box like this, not yet. So what you can do, you can take stacks. You might already have some sort of platform for plyometrics, which you can use that ideally instead of plates. But worst case scenario, you can take 2 or 3 plates, as many as you need to do this properly. Use assistance on a rack, and I'll show a highlight of me doing this with clients at the gym that I work at. And then that allows you to regress this exercise so you can do it with perfect form. Level 1 is upper body and assisted. Level 2 is unassisted here, which then you can progress to doing this on flat ground. Level 3 on flat ground, and then increasingly getting stronger here by loading this motion with dumbbells. So this would technically be level 4. You can get increasingly more athletic and more protected in your knees and hip flexors. For the couch stretch, level 1 is going to be using a bench. I use this for my clients that have a really hard time doing this against the wall, which we're going to discuss in level 2. You can even regress that a little bit. So no worries if you don't have a bench. I'll show that in just a second. So for you, when you're using an incline bench, you're going to put your hands on the seat first, then put your knee there. You're going to bring the foot over like this, and you're going to slightly try to stand up, stretching back, reaching back, stretching that hip flexor and the quad. The further that you go back, the more stretch you're going to feel. And then if you want more stretch, you can incline the bench even more. I like to use a pull to help me push back with my clients. Using this is a great way to stretch out the quads, the hip flexors. You're going to squeeze your quad, squeeze your glute and hold. And you can progress this by inclining the bench even more until the point that you're upright. You can even pull in a little bit with the hands on the bench. So level 2 is going to be using a mat against the wall. You can start here if you don't have an incline bench. And ideally, the further away your knee is from the wall, the easier this is going to be. So to set up, you can start on both your knees, bring this leg up here, and then you're going to slowly try to stand up, bringing this leg up. So this leg, front leg should be about 90 degrees. Push back with your pull and stretch right there. Again, the closer that your knee is, the more stretch you're going to get on this. And the goal is to eventually have your knee and your shin in the same spot as you push back like this. So level 2 is using a wall like this. And then level 3 is getting shoulders to the wall on the stretch. And then if you want even more stretch, once you get to level 3, it slowly pulls back. So these reps are going to get those hip flexors nice and loose. And you'll notice that as you lean forward, you feel a big stretch here in the hip flexors. So if you feel any pain, don't do this. Really need to scale it back a little bit. Coming forward, big stretch right there. And then leaning back. Breathing through this and always making sure to squeeze the quad, squeeze the glute in this position. Anyone can start strengthening their hip flexors from home without any equipment by doing these L-sit pulses. So the plan is you can start here on the ground without lifting yourself up, leaning forward. You want your chest over your thighs, and then you're going to bring up one leg at a time. You're going to set a 1 minute timer and do these pulses, counting in 1, 2, and switching. So this is going to be level 1, 1, 2, switching. You can make this level harder by picking up yourself here. 1, 2, switch. And then level 2 is going to be doing these holds off the ground, which these become a lot easier when you do add equipment to the equation. So using a pair of parallel bars, you can find this from any brand, will help you improve level 1 and 2 in difficulty. So here you can do 1, 2, hold, switch. Level 3 by coming off the ground. Hold this for about 20-second holds is more than enough. So 3 sets of 20-second holds on the L-sit. For level 3, you can use ab straps, so you would hang on a chin-up bar. Put your hands through them like this, elbows down, grabbing the top of them, and then you're gonna work on the guard hammer raise, still working the hip flexors. So you bring up your legs to about 90 degrees, bring your toes in like this, and then bring up the knees to the elbows. You can make these even harder by bringing them up, then straightening and controlling down. Up, straight, control down. Now that you've seen the options for strengthening your hip flexors from home, you can actually do these here ideally with a cable machine and a pair of ab straps that attach to your feet. This allows us to get measurably stronger in the hip flexors and the lower core. So you're going to put these around your feet like this, tighten them up so they don't slide off. And ideally you want something right behind you that you can grab onto so that it doesn't pull you down every time you do a rep. Like this, and you're going to work towards getting your legs past parallel here. This is called a reverse squat or a low cable pull-in. And you want to work up to being able to do 20 reps with about 50% of your body weight. The elephant walk is basically a cheat code to get flexible hamstrings fast. All you really need is something to place your hands on to regress the exercise. So you can start with 1 foot here. You're going to put your palms down, flexing the spine like this, and you're going to alternate bending one leg at a time. You're going to feel a jolt of tension here behind the hamstring as you straighten it out. To fully straighten out your leg, flex your quad as you do these each time. This is level 1, starting at around a foot or higher. Level 2 is going to be 6 inches. We're going to do about 40 reps every time. And then level 3, and the ultimate standard for this is being able to get your palms to the ground with your legs straight and then bending one after the other like this. For troubleshooting, if you have a hard time being able to do these with even 1 foot, you can bring your legs back a little bit to the point where it feels comfortable to bend one leg at a time. You don't want too much of a jolt in those hamstrings, and you don't want to force it because there is a lot of tension in there. So if you can't do it here, just back up a little bit or simply elevate further than 1 foot. You're going to set up your back extension height to be right about where your hip bent. When you set up, bring your feet, your heels to the edge so the mats are firmly holding it, and you're going to bend right here below the belly. Level 1 is going to be assisted, helping yourself come down all the way to the bottom, and then slowly coming back up, squeezing the glutes. Most of the tension is going to be in this neutral spine position at the top as you extend into it. Here you're squeezing your glutes, you're going to be squeezing your hamstrings, and that's where you're going to be feeling the most effect on the muscle in this exercise. Level 2 is going to be unassisted, so just using your body weight to come down all the way to the bottom, and then squeezing on the way up, squeezing the glute and the hamstring, getting those muscles strong. Level 3 is going to be using weight, coming all the way down here, squeezing to get back up to the top. You can hold the weight at your chest, or if you want, and then extend your arms at the bottom. If you're carrying too much weight, you're still going to get the effects of getting stronger in this position. To improve your inner thigh, hamstring, and groin mobility, you don't need any equipment. You can actually do this with just a pancake stretch. So we're going to bring our feet wide, and you're going to come down trying to touch the ground. Level 1 is being able to touch your palms to the ground. You're going to do pulses like this to get a little bit of tension into the hamstrings and get more flexible every rep. Level 2 is going to be getting your elbows to the ground. And then level 3 is going to be being able to get your forehead to the ground. From there, you can scale this position by adding weight by using a cable or resistance band, which pulls you into the stretch. Now, it's actually safest to do this seated because it doesn't require as much balance. So you're going to let the weight slowly pull you down into the stretch and then contract back. You want to find a distance that allows you to get full stretch at the bottom with the goal of touching your forehead to the ground and the ultimate goal of getting your chest to the ground. But I wouldn't recommend going above 50% of body weight on this because it is a lot of tension in that stretch position. The loaded butterfly stretch is a bonus exercise to help you unlock that groin mobility. And no, it's not this one. I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're going to bring your butt completely against the wall here. Then we're going to bring the bottom of your feet together like this. And then level 1 is just pushing down with your hands, trying to get your knees to the ground and then pulsing back up like that. Level 2 is going to be actually using weight to help you bring your knees down to the ground, coming up all the way, control and slow it down. Again, the goal here is knees flat to the ground. Level 3 is going to be the ability to use 12.5% of your body weight per hand, doing 20 reps and being able to get those knees fully flat to the ground. Pigeon good morning, you're going to keep this back leg straight, put this front leg in a 90-degree position to where your knee matches in line with your ankle. That's very important to get the most out of the stretch. One hand on each side of your leg, and you're going to work towards getting your forehead to your foot. You're going to start by doing this on an incline bench, which makes it easier for everybody to get into it, and then slowly reduce the incline on that bench until you're a flat bench. So level 1 is incline bench, level 2 is flat bench, then level 3 is being able to do this on flat ground. So again, 90-degree angle on your leg, matching your ankle to your knee. One hand on each side, back leg straight, then working to get that forehead to the foot, coming up and down like this. Any of these levels are safe to use, but you're going to get the most out of the one that you can do with the least amount of resistance. Loosening our hips, our outer hips here, stretching the groin as well. For the QL extension, you're going to bring the leg that's on the outside forward, this other leg inside, and you're going to make sure that your hip is in the crease here of the back extension machine. Level 1 is starting this assisted. So the bottom hand's going to hang on to the railing here. The other hand's going to go hand behind the head. You're going to go as far as you're able to go without pain, and then come back up, contracting your quadratus lumborum and your obliques. Level 2 is going to be unassisted, so just using our body weight to go as deep as we can here, and then come back up. Level 3 is weighted. You're going to work up to being able to do this with 25% of your body weight for 10 reps. But start light and be patient. You don't want to injure this muscle. Focus on getting the deepest stretch on every rep. To get started directly reversing out the effects of sitting on your shoulders and upper back, all you really need is a wall. We're going to do a wall stretch or a wall pullover, but put our hands against the wall, hinging back at the hip, getting the head down, chest down, stretching fully at the shoulders. If you want to make this harder, deeper stretch, closer together, gives you a deeper stretch. And if you want to add more intensity into the motion, you can bring your feet back a little bit further. So each one of these pulses, trying to get deep down, is a repetition. You're going to do 15 repetitions of this, making sure to fully stretch out at the bottom. Again, feet closer in is a little bit less intensity, and further out is harder. This is a very scalable level 1. Level 2 is infinitely more scalable because then you move on to using a cable. So you're gonna grab the cable, step back a little bit, lean forward like you're doing a remaining deadlift. You don't necessarily have to keep your legs straight, but just bring the butt back as far as it'll go. Allow the shoulders to stretch at the top, keeping the arms straight. You're gonna pull down using your chest and your lats. Let it slowly bring you up, stretch fully at the top, and then control slowly down like this. Keeping the chest up the entire time. Big stretch at the top, and then control slowly down. And you can scale this by adding more weight as you get stronger in that position. In continuation of level 2 of the cross bench pullover, if you don't have a cable, you would need a dumbbell and a bench. So you could start with the bench elevated like this to reduce the amount of stretch that you're getting at the bottom. You're gonna hold the dumbbell like a triangle, bring it up with the arms straight like this, and keep doing your best to keep your arms straight. Bring it down into a full stretch here and bring it up from there. So you can scale this with the amount of weight you're using. And as you get more comfortable in this stretch position, you can lower the amount of inclination to make it more difficult. Then from here, we're gonna move on to level 3. Level 3 of the pullover, we're gonna use our body across the bench. So you set up like this, put the dumbbell on the bench, putting your shoulders around the middle of the bench, pick it up, same grip, grabbing it like a triangle here, chest up, head down, hips down, and you come into a full stretch. This is gonna give you more stretch and more intensity at the bottom of this exercise. Push up like that, control slowly down, keeping the hips down, and then bring up. Now, if you have any imbalances, you can do any of these versions one hand at a time. So you can even do the cable with one hand, and then this one with 2 dumbbells so that you can correct any imbalances in your shoulders. We've opened up that overhead mobility. We got to get stronger in the muscles that stabilize your shoulders. You can do a trap 3 raise on the ground, laying down like this, bring thumbs up, bringing up the hands off the ground and your legs off the ground. The only thing that should be touching is your belly. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds and then bring it down. We'll do 15 reps here. And then doing this with weights makes it immensely more challenging. Level 2 can be done against a wall, and all you really need is something weighted for your hands. So you're gonna put your butt against the wall, hinge forward with the back straight, bring the dumbbells or weights between your legs, and then you're gonna come up in a wide position. So arms should be at 45 degrees, controlling the weight slowly down. About 3 seconds on the way down. Doing your best effort to keep those arms completely straight. Level 3 is going to be doing this on a 45-degree back extension with the chest up. Again, keeping this neutral spine position, not going forward. We want to keep this the entire time. You're going to feel this in your hamstrings and glutes as well. Deep breath, back the shoulders down, bring it up, roll slowly on the way down. So locking the shoulders down and back. Take a deep breath. Slow on the way down. This exercise should be mandatory for people who sit at desks. It's called the cable face pull. For neck extension holds, level 1 of this, you're gonna be using a mat against a wall. Start by placing your head against the wall, bring your feet out a little bit, and then from there, you're gonna do a neck bridge. You're gonna hold this for 8 seconds, and we're gonna repeat that 3 times for 8 reps. Slowly coming back, pausing for 1 second, coming back up, holding that, 8 seconds there. This allows us to get stronger in our neck, and you can scale this by bringing your feet out further. And further is harder, closer is easier. And then you can scale to level 2. Level 2 is then going to be using an incline bench to slowly progress the incline that you use. Holding here for 8 seconds at a time and repeating for 3 reps until you get to flat bench, which is level 3. You're still going to hold this for 8 seconds and you're going to do this 3 times. If you really want to understand this more and start your journey towards physical freedom, check out the free ebook in my bio explaining this more in depth, or comment freedom below and I'll send you the link.